Hey everyone, Rob from ProWrestleBlog here, www.prowrestleblog.blogspot.com. Hey, today I'm reviewing a disc I have of World Class Championship Wrestling. It's titled Disc 40, so Disc 40 of World Class it is today. This one, it's kind of like a mega mix of stuff, like a little compilation. So it's not really a full show or anything, and the dates definitely all switch around, so you know how it goes. The first match was Jimmy Jack Funk versus the Super Black Ninja, aka the Great Muta. I was kind of excited about this going in, but it really didn't end up being that good. Muta looked okay, I guess, but it was just all punches and kicks and stomps, just the whole match, and just totally nothing. It could have been a lot better, I thought, but it just didn't happen. And as you'll see throughout the disc, the next thing that happened, Skandor Akbar, he called out his troops to interfere, and this happens multiple times throughout this one. And they interfered here. There ended up with a big melee, and with Gary Young, Jeff Jarrett, Eric Embry, Brickhouse Brown, Iceman, King Parsons, and tons of others. And it was a whole mess battle royal in the ring, and kind of ended this one. I think Jimmy Jack won by DQ due to the interference, but it's possible he didn't. So I don't know. I can't tell you. They did play off the Texas versus Japan thing here a little bit. The match was kind of so whatever. We then went to another pretty quick one. This was from '83. It was Mr. Ebony, who is Tom Jones, not that I know who that is, versus Iceman King Parsons. Iceman got the win here over Mr. Ebony with a butt bump and a quick and not very good squash. Like I said, again, this was all punches and kicks. The crowd was really into it, but I wasn't. But as you'll kind of see, the crowd's really into everything here. Buddy Roberts came down at ringside since Iceman had shaved off his hair, and he was wearing his boxing helmet with the fake wig, and he jumped in as soon as the match ended, and they did a 2-on-1 on Parsons. Parsons eventually cleared him out, though, with a dropkick on Mr. Ebony after taking a little bit of a whooping. Next up, we had from 1988, Eric Embry and Jeff Jarrett versus Cactus, Jack Manson, and Gorgeous Gary Young. Again, this was another interference-laden match. There was some good stuff in the beginning with the faces getting the advantage, and they had control with the heels begging off, and then Eric Embry threw the one ref halfway across the ring. We then got some pretty good fighting with Gary Young and Eric Embry, and the faces actually had the double team on Gary Young, and then Eric Embry pulled scissors out, and he went to go cut some of Gary Young's hair, and he actually got a little bit off. And then Gary Young ran out to the ring with Cactus Jack, and that was it. Cactus Jack and Gary Young won by DQ in a few minutes due to Eric getting out the scissors or for him tossing the ref. This was pretty quick, but I did like it, and it was a decent brawl. The crowd was really hot for it, which helped, and it was all mayhem, so that's a good thing. Young got a quick haircut here, but I'm pretty sure he was wearing extensions, as his hair was never this long before, so I don't know. I'm not buying it. Next up, we had from January 27th, 1989, we had a Texas Death Match for the Texas Heavyweight Championship. This one was Brickhouse Brown versus Iceman King Parsons. This was a really good match. Early on, just lots of brawling. Iceman was taking some really good bumps. He took a kind of a hard backdrop on his knee, and then he did a really nice sell like out of Nintendo when he got punched. Brickhouse dove after him, and they fought on the floor with Iceman tripping over chairs and just all kinds of mayhem. He then got more of a comeback in and begged off Parsons, and he got a little bit of whooping in. But right then, as he stopped and got off due to the ref, Iceman got a weapon from Akbar, like some type of nux or something, and he absolutely walloped Brickhouse with him, and he got the first fall. Now, since this was a Texas Death Match, pinfalls didn't really count. It only counts if you can't answer the 10 count, so that kind of plays into it here. And then Iceman got on the mic, and he grabbed the mic during the match, and he said, "I'm going to ask you one more time. When I ask you, am I your master, young punk, you say, show enough." And he kept saying it again. He said, "Am I your master? Am I your master?" And then Mark Lawrence was on the mic saying, "I've never seen anything like this before." And then he punched out Brickhouse in a really good shot. And Mark said, "This is terribly degrading for Brickhouse Brown." And from here, it became the Iceman show for a little bit. He really beat the crap out of Brick, and Brick was selling all over. He even kicked him out of the ring, which I did like. And then he went to pose for the crowd, and he was messing with the camera and doing all kinds of jerk stuff, which was cool. The crowd totally ate it up, and Mark said, "Iceman's even taking time to agitate the fans a little bit." And then after he was doing this, he went on the outside, and Brickhouse finally got the advantage again. And he begged off Parsons, and he got a couple good shots in with some really good selling by Parsons. And he finally was on top, on the top position, on top mount. He was beating the crap out of him. And, of course, Akbar had to call for his guys again. And it, again, broke out into another melee with, all kinds of people like Gary Young, Cactus Jack, Muta, and Jeff Jarrett, and God knows who else was down there. And they ended up in a pretty wild brawl again with Brickhouse throwing Iceman outside the building, actually, through the door. I don't know what the ending would be for this. I guess a DQ win for Brickhouse, but it kind of was it was a no DQ match kind of already, so I don't know. Anyway, I guess my tone doesn't really sell it well enough, but this was actually an awesome match. Parsons was just totally on top of his game here. I mean, he looked like a jerk and he acted like a jerk. He was ripping on people. He was just punching Brickhouse and insulting them, and he was just really mean and nasty here. And the crowd was so totally into it. And Brickhouse was even strutting here. He was taunting the fans, playing with the camera, and and then he took it back. When Brickhouse got his chance to shine, Parsons did some really good selling, and they exchanged really good punches. And, this was just a lot of fun. The match was set up perfectly. I hated the finish, but, as for the in-ring work, it was pretty much perfect. I loved it. I didn't see any real problems with it. So, well, I kind of hate to do this, but I kind of have to give it 5 stars, if you could believe that. I really don't throw it out. I really don't throw this out much, and I guess I'm not 100% sold on the pick, but if you take away all the bad booking, the actual match, there was like nothing wrong with it. It was pretty much perfect and spot on. A real finish and stuff would have made it better, but this was exactly what you would want out of a match, and it was just a totally fun Memphis brawl, and just it was perfect. It was really good, so I gave it a great rating for it. I was sad to see that the heels jumped in and ended that prematurely, but hey, it's 1989 wrestling, so you get what you get. We then went to another match. This was from the David Von Erich Parade of Champions 2 from Texas Stadium, May 5th, 1985. It was the dynamic duo of Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez versus the Great Kabuki and Scott Casey. Yeah. The match started off with like Kabuki and Adams, and everyone was kind of just resisting Kabuki and being a little bit afraid. And Kabuki kicked Adams a couple good times, and they had 2 rings here, so he sent Adams into the second ring, which I always like that spot. It's something special you don't see in a while because they rarely ever do 2 rings, so it was cool to see it. Adams then tagged Gino in, and Gino got like this huge boo once he entered. The crowd was totally on his case and not happy to see him at all. And Gino really played it up, just looking at amazement and seeing all the trouble he's caused. The heels then beat up Scott Casey for a bit, and they took control. Sunshine was the valet for the faces, and she was on the outside selling it pretty well and, treating it like a big threat. And Kabuki even did it too. The heels got the advantage, and then Kabuki kind of got in and ran wild. He scared off the heels, and they kind of actually evened it up then, which sucked. But Adams did a really cool flip and posed in front of everyone, and then they broke out into a little bit of a brawl, and the heels grabbed Sunshine, and Gino was going to nail her off the top rope while Adams held her in the full Nelson, and Kabuki came and put a stop to it. He nailed Adams, and then he missed Gino as he came off the rope. But the cameras kind of missed that, which sucked. So they immediately gave this fall to the dynamic duo, and they won, and I got the heck out of there. Of course, they played with the crowd a little bit, and Gino didn't really get hit that good, but he did try to sell it. I like this match. The dynamic duo were super fun here. Kabuki wasn't bad. Scott Casey might as well have not been there. But, this was good stuff. I really like this. Really good stuff. We then went to another match, pretty random. We went to one from May 1985 at the Sportatorium. We had the Midnight Express versus Skip Young and Mike Bond. The Midnights really posed and did all kinds of stuff in the beginning of the match, and they were, and I kind of like that. And of course, the crowd got on Cornette, and Cornette even kissed Eaton, which I found kind of funny. Yeah. Dennis Condrey ended up picking the win here over Mike Bond with a double stomp. It was a short match, but it was pretty fun. I did like it. The faces got some hope spots in, and Mike Bond looked like a teacher. And yeah, I mean, it was just the MX being their usual good selves. I liked the double stomp, and they did, and they had a high low that they hit that was pretty nice. And that was just good stuff. Quick win for the MX here, and a nice hot crowd. And Jim Cornette, what more could you want? All right, guys. This is gonna wrap it up for part one right here. I really like this part of the disc. This was really good. Parsons versus Brown was a classic and a total lost gem that you really don't see that often. If you can find a way to track it down, you got to go see it because it was really good. Just good stuff. Just really good stuff. Like I said, I don't give out 5 stars very much, but this one was probably around there at least. The dynamic duo were also pretty good on this. I like seeing them, and they just fit in really well. And it was cool to see the Midnights make a surprise cameo appearance. And yeah, just a really good disc. Lots of wild brawling and tons of great heat. So stay tuned for part 2. Gonna try to do it in the future. So yeah. So stick around for that. All right. So stay tuned, everyone, for part 2 of my World Class Championship Wrestling Disc 40 review. This is Rob from www.prowrestblog.blogspot.com signing out.